Stage 4 of the New Zealand Cycle Classic. This is the one the riders have been talking about it since they arrived here in Masterton on Sunday. It's 152 kilometres to the top of Admiral's Hill, but a few big climbs to get over before you get there. Limeworks, Tafari, and then the Admiral's Climb. Today, we'll see the climbers come out, the guys that have been hiding in the peloton, and this is the day that will decide the tour.
It's the Queen stage of the race, one that most riders have been waiting for, to be honest, including ourselves. So we got 3 guys for today. I'll leave you to work out who those are. Yeah, we got 3 climbers for today. That should be good. We're probably about a couple of weeks behind training-wise where we were this time last year, but be interested to see where they are.
It's pretty tough. The 2 times around the big circuit before they start the climbs, it's hard to control the race. What do you think Oliver's will do?
I think we've heard that they're going to try and control it, which is very, very ambitious, I have to say, because don't forget the stage is another 30k longer from the other stages we've done previously. So I think that potentially could take its toll in the final part of the race. They'll be leaving themselves a little bit open, but those are just rumours. You never know, and I expect Bennet to certainly to put the pressure on. Straight from the start, to put Oliver's under pressure to set themselves up for that finale. And then, in fairness, once you get to the climb, it's every man for himself, to be honest. It's pretty much, if you are where you are sort of thing on that sort of climb. Teamwork doesn't come into it too much, but it's really, really important up to the bottom of the climb itself.
Craig, you've got the yellow jersey. You've had it now for 3 days, but this is the day it counts, and a lot of pressure on the team.
Yeah, got a few nervous boys this morning. They understand the pressure they'll be under. I don't think we'll ride as strongly on the front today as you have seen in the past. Possibly just freelance a little, because we need to just make sure we've got a few guys around Nick, a few of the bigger boys, and we might just try and get a few of the smaller guys with more climbing potential in possible breaks, and just see how far we go. Nick just cover a few of the key riders and hope for the best.
James, this is your day. You've performed well on this climb before. What's your plans?
I don't know if we'll be able to do a repeat of last year. I think we've got too many eyes watching us, but in terms of the team, we've definitely got quite a strong team here. It could almost be our race to lose. As long as we're smart and have numbers over the top and going into the bottom of Admirals or someone away, yeah, will be a good day for us.
Yeah, you have got plenty of cards to play, not just yourself. You've got Michael Torkler sitting there, and in second place overall in GC, Hayden McCormick. Yeah,
Hayden's climbing really well, and Torkler's renowned climber, multiple-time coronet winner. So yeah, we're not lacking. It'll be interesting to see how the other teams play out. Obviously, first race of the year, first race against Swiss Wellness, and there's probably a couple of climbers in the field that we don't know about or aren't aware about. But yeah, I think we'll definitely have a good day out there.
It's a big day for the riders. 154 kilometres. They leave Masterton on their way to Admiral Hill. But to get there, they've got to do 2 big loops at a Tafari Church circuit, which is a tough little circuit. Some climbs on the course, so it's a real leg-breaking type of course. Then they head out towards Limeworks on the way to the Tafari climb and the turn-off to Admiral's Hill. The riders are assembling in nice sunny conditions in the foyer of the Solway Hotel. The base of the riders right throughout the Trust Our Cycle Classic. The Ulysses Motorcycle team not only doing a great job on the road for us controlling the intersections and assisting the police, but there you go, a little bit of animal control management. They've had some stock control management with some sheep on the course as well throughout the previous stages, but the Ulysses Motorcycle Club are vital in the running of this event. As always, the riders are keen to get into it right from the start. You see the hand coming out there, a little bit of a hand sling. That's just to make things a little bit easier if you miss the wheel. So Bailey Harrison, GPM, just giving Dylan Newbury, the King of the Mountains leader, a hand sling just to help keep him on the wheel. It's just a courteous thing to do. Yesterday's stage winner, Matthew Gibson, JLT Condor, showing he's not just a sprinter, getting into the early break. Jack Sutton is up there policing it for Oliver's Real Food Racing. So he may be wanting to stay there for the day to have a rider up the road, or he may just want to sit up and go back, so they've got plenty of firepower in the peloton. But Matthew Gibson showed his form yesterday. As we look at the peloton, coming down the descent, Robert Stannard in the yellow helmet, the white jersey. He's wearing the white jersey, looking after it for Nick Redditch, who's the current under-23 leader, but he's also the overall leader of the New Zealand Cycle Classic, and he wears the Tour Leaders yellow jersey. It's a big day for him today to defend it. Toughest day, the Queen stage of the Tour, as John Herity said. And as he predicted, someone in the break. They got 3 good climbers in the JLT Condor team. We'll find out a little bit later on in the race just who they are. The New Zealand national team, Joel Yates, Taylor Gunman, James Oram, Luke Mudgway doing the work. Hayden McCormick sits in second place on the general classification, just 5 seconds behind. Swing into the corner of the break, all working well together. Bradley Leach has got across there for Team Skoda Racing, so it's a good move. Takes a little bit of pressure off Robert Stannard, who lies 3rd overall on the general classification at the start of this morning. The sprint, but the rider's pretty happy just to keep rolling, keep sharing the pace. Taylor Gunman, Steve Lampierre, right in for the Sign Factory team. Then in Brisbane, the white jerseys looking after Michael Vink. Michael Vink sitting just 13 seconds down overall and a very good climber. Past winner of the New Zealand Cycle Classic. Beautiful scenery, but this course, the wind blowing the riders. So if you're back in the bunch, it can be difficult if one of the teams decide to really apply the pressure and put the race in the gutter. At the moment, the New Zealand national team seem quite content to lead the peloton. Steve Lampierre doesn't mind going through. He finished 2nd on this stage last year when he was riding for JLT Gondor. Taylor Gunman, Joel Yates doing the bulk of the work. Then the Benelong team. Who are they going to launch today? They've done a lot of work. They haven't had a lot of reward so far on the tour. Chris Harper would be their known climber. They've also got Joe Cooper, the defending champion. Luke Mudgway just seeing a pile of bottles under his jersey. He's obviously on super domestic duties today. The brake working well. Bradley Leach just tucked down on that. Aero position leaning on the bars. And these climbs that they go around on this circuit, up and down, some quite decent climbs, none of them featuring on today's King of the Mountains, but on most other stages they would be King of the Mountains points. Jason Thompson for Freezor Racing, also in the break. Another good move from their team today, putting a rider in the breakaway. There he goes, rolling through. Good steady tempo, tall, lean man. Quality young rider. And there's another one. Bradley Leach. His father, Paul Leach, Commonwealth Games, an Olympic representative, now coaching in Auckland. Bradley really coming on as a great young cyclist as well. There's the peloton. Things really haven't changed. This will suit Nick Redditch a little bit, sitting there in the yellow jersey, following Robert Stannard. He knows today he's going to be under a lot of pressure when we get to the climbs. James Oram said Hayden McCormick's climbing well. We're going to find out on Admiral's Hill, probably before Admiral's Hill when we get over. We have Limeworks, remember. Then we have Tafari before we hit the bottom of Admiral's. And Tafari referred to is probably the toughest climb. But this break, continually working well together. Everybody doing a turn. Peter Livingston, Mobius, Bridge Lane, they've had a great tour so far. Dylan Newbury will be quite happy. He's in the King of the Mountains jersey, back in the peloton. If this break can pick up a couple of those points, it helps him keep the jersey. None of them really contenders in that competition if we look down the points classification. Team Freezor Racing, Brought some young riders to this race, and under the guidance of 1988 winner Darian Rush. And team owner, Noel Turner, they've been getting plenty of encouragement and have raced with a lot of passion. Got a bit of a tune-up on day one, but since then they've been in the break every day, and that's what you like to see when you're a team manager. Your riders out there getting representation in the break. Matthew Gibson's showing that, gee, he's just not the sprinter of the team today, putting in all the effort. Again, by being out there, he takes so much pressure off his teammates. They don't have to chase. So back in the peloton, it's the New Zealand national team, quite happy. This break sitting now at around 2.5 minutes. They won't let them get any more than 3 today, and then they'll start bringing them back. But this group of 5 riders working well together. Jack Sutton for Olivers. Just leading, so Oliver's a little bit lucky at the moment. The other teams are doing the chasing, because when you have teams of 6, you have 1 in the break, it only leaves 4 to chase and protect that yellow jersey. They're not having to worry at the moment as New Zealand national. Steve Lampier is pretty happy to keep rolling along as well at the front. Been along. There's Luke Mudgeway, as we saw earlier in the stage, riding up beside them with some more jerseys tucked, more bottles and food tucked in his jersey for his team leaders, so they don't have to worry about going back. Michael Vink's team surrounding him in the white, Brisbane. Still tapping out a good tempo this break, working well together. At the moment, they're combining their efforts. They have to. They'll be competitors a little bit later in the stage if they're still together, but for right now, they need each other. So team order, New Zealand, Benelong. The yellow jersey for Olivers, the Brisbane Continental Cycling Team, the Australian Cycling Academy, the Swiss national team, jailed Keith Condor a little bit back. They signal left-hand turn. Taylor Gunman leads the peloton through. Does a nice steady pace, if you like. It's a quality field. No one's really dropped off on this tough little circuit, but that's because the pace has been smooth. It's been very steady but smooth, averaging around 40, 42 kilometres an hour. Up onto Limeworks. Over the top. Peter Livingston takes Limeworks. Here's the peloton coming towards Limeworks. The yellow jersey sitting there. They're starting to get towards the business end of the race, and still it's Grupo Compacto as far as the peloton is concerned. They race down the other side, heading towards Tafari, the tough little climb. If anything's going to split up the race, it will be that one. Just remember, the brake still out in front, still working well. The riders low down on the bikes. They swing in towards Tafari. Well, I'm standing on the road here at the bottom of Tafari Hill. It's 32 degrees. It's super hot. My feet are sticking to the tar. I don't know what it's like on the road out there for these riders. The breakaway, they've got a 1:25 lead. They've been out for 120 kilometres of the 152 kilometre stage, but the peloton is chasing. Well, the breakaway is about to come past me. We've lost one rider. Bradley Leach has dropped off from Team Skoda Racing. Freeze will still have Jason Thompson in there. Jack Sutton for Olivers. They're about to hit the big climb. This climb is referred to as the wall. Remember, these guys have been out here all day in this temperature, working hard, working well together. This is the leg breaker. They're coming towards Tafari. On the front, JLT Condor, Matthew Gibson. There he goes. He's looking comfortable. Mobius, Peter Livingston, Jack Sutton's there, and Jason Thompson from Freezor Racing as they approach the bottom of Tafari. Charging towards the bottom of Tafari Hill. It is on, and it's going to be on, if you like to say it, like Donkey Kong up the hill. Who's going to launch first? You can see Mobius there. Team New Zealand have got their rider. Brisbane, they're thinking of the interests of Michael Vink, the Swiss national team. They're about to approach the wall. Some of the riders have swung off as they've launched their teams. There's Joel Yates on the front doing his bit. James Oram is there. They'll be thinking of the interests of Hayden McCormick. This is the leg breaker, Tafari, and it's hurting a lot of the riders at the back. Well, it's the leg breaker, all right. Remember, it was a big group at the bottom of this climb as the motorbike makes its way up. Alex Ray just putting his hand up, looking for a water bottle. I'm sure they'll want that. 32 degrees, the strain on the faces of these riders. Keith Stuyveston, Freezor, Ben Hamilton hanging in there. Luke Mudgeway as well, fighting his way back to the front. There's James Oram looking very comfortable as he accelerates. The pressure is being applied. These are the big hitters, the general classification men. There's Hayden McCormick. Robert Stannard setting the tempo. Sitting there on the Scott foil, just tapping it out. Robert Stannard, the last man of the, well, not the last man of the breakaway, but one of the breakaway riders. That's Peter Livingston, Mobius Bridge Lane. I think being picked up. Robert Stannard puts the pressure on. Michael Torkler sees it and responds, but out front. Matthew Gibson. Some bike tourists enjoying the Wairarapa. Gibson, he hasn't given up. He's not throwing in the towel. He's not going back. He goes over, takes the King of the Mountains point, straight down onto the drops. Peloton, come over. This man, he said, well, I won in a bunch sprint yesterday. Today I'm going to give it everything. I'm going to try and go solo. It's got the vented jersey on. JLT Condor Cycles celebrating 70 years of making bikes. He turns left. He's onto the climb first. Admiral's Hill, here we go. 10 kilometres to the top. Ben Hamilton, Ed Bradbury jumped off the front of the peloton. They're next round. Now they've got a bit of a gap, working hard. Look over the shoulder. The peloton are coming. Who is doing the damage there? It's Luke Mudgeway on the front, and he's put it over into the gutter. So most of the riders, he's got his teammates sheltered. The rest of them, you can see the Benelong also sitting out to shelter the riders. There's the man they're chasing. 152 kilometres of the stage. He's been out there now for about 140 of them. He's about to be picked up. His day has come to an end at the front of the bike race. Matthew Gibson, JLT Condor. Back in the peloton, James Oram picks up the pace. Setting a very fast tempo tailwind up the hill. This is a big group though, 13, 14 riders still here. It's very rare on Admiral's Hill to see this many. Sprinting beside them, that's a good little workout, but Oram is flying on the front. Michael Torkler sits behind him, then Hayden McCormick, Michael Vink, Chris Harper for Benelong. Look back down the hill. No one's coming back to this group. Let's keep up now. You won't catch up on the climb. Oram, as we look back over the Wairarapa Valley, down into the basin. They're eating up the climb. Chris Harper takes over on the front. Robert Stannard sitting there comfortably. Looks over his shoulder, the young man. Poised to become one of the youngest winners if he can win the bike race. His dad, Steve, will be watching on. Himself a great rider. Michael Torkler, shirt undone, goes to the front. Is he going to launch an attack, or is he just going to keep the pace high? He's keeping the pace high. That'll be in the interests of Hayden McCormick. McCormick at the moment, remember, he started the day 7 seconds down on the general classification. Sorry, just 4 seconds down on the general classification. It's standard at 7 seconds. So McCormick, right now, the yellow jersey's not there. The man in the green, Michael Potter, the Australian Cycling Academy, he's there. But Oram sets the tempo once again on the front. James Oram. Robert Stannard, though, he's hardly moved off second wheel the whole way up the climb, covering everything. Torkler swings over, just has a wee look. Who have we got? We've still got 9 riders left. He'll be going, what's going on? This has been tough, but they're all hanging in. James Oram just turns the screws on a little bit more, just lifts the pace. Stannard responds. Also, last year rode for the Michelin Scott Australian team over in Europe. The man George Sandoval picked to win the Tour earlier in the week. Michael Vink now, in the last 600 metres, decides to go to the front, picks up the pace. Michael Torkler sits there as well. Michael Vink hasn't got out of the seat, hasn't launched anything. Chris Harper sitting there looking fairly comfortable. Been along, they've worked hard all tour, haven't had a lot to show for it. We go to the air, we get the overview from the top. It's still Vink. I think the riders are tired. Remember, it's been a long, hot day, 152 kilometres. They're inside the last few hundred metres. Who's got the most? Ian Bibby's there for JLT Condor, sitting there third wheel at the moment. Hayden McCormick. Robert Stannard. If Stannard takes the stage, he could take the Tour lead. McCormick's got to stay in touch. He's the Tour leader on the road right now. Chris Harper on the back, just sitting there. Michael Potter, 200 to go in the green. Here we go. There's Bibby launching an attack. Oh, good move. Who's going to go? Robert Stannard goes straight away on the outside. Robert Stannard goes after Ian Bibby. Bibby, though, he's got the march on them. Michael Potter's trying to come back. Hayden McCormick's doing everything he can to close the gap. Remember, time bonuses and gaps count on the line. No doubt about the winner. JLT make it 2 in a row with Ian Bibby. Ian, congratulations on a fantastic stage win to the top of Admiral Hill. What was it like out there?
Very, very warm and sweaty and hot, long day. But yeah, it was really good. It was we knew it was going to be a hard finish, and it was all going to sort of come down to the last 2 climbs. So it was by far the warmest day today, and I think a lot of people were feeling it. And it split up quite a lot and came out together at the bottom of the climb, so it made it really tough. And it sort of split to about 8 rides, I think, at the end, and it turned into a bit of a sprint up the climb. So yeah, it was a good day for us.
It was hot, 32 degrees one part of the day when I stopped on the side of the road. You know, what do you do in that sort of temperature to keep yourself cool?
I think you just got to try and adapt to it as quick as you can. Then we got here. We've not had much time really to try and get used to it, so we've suffered a bit. But you just got to keep drinking and eating, and yeah, your heart rate's higher than normal and everything. So yeah, there's not much you can do. Just try and keep hydrated.
Robert, congratulations on a fantastic stage and taking the Tour leader's yellow jersey. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great to be in this position. I mean, we've been looking to race the Tour exactly how it's been raced so far. So yeah, we've achieved our goals, and it's really good to be in yellow coming into the last stage.
You've been pretty aggressive right throughout the Tour. It's really starting to pay off, being in the right moves, getting that move on the first day. How important was that?
Yeah, that's been really important. I mean, it set up the whole race for us, and yeah, I mean, it's got us to where we are at the moment because we haven't actually won a stage, just got the time bonus seconds and little splits. So yeah, it's been most important thing in these races is just to be consistent, and been trying to do that every day. So yeah, been really happy.
Confirming the stage results, Ian Bibby from Robert Stannard, Michael Potter and Hayden McCormick. The general classification, Robert Stannard has a 5-second advantage over Hayden McCormick, Michael Vink and Michael Potter. Well, we thought Admiral's Hill would decide the Tour winner for 2018, but tomorrow's final stage, 120 kilometres, 12 laps of a circuit around Mitre 10 Mega, with 3 sprints plus the final. Time bonuses are going to be so important, and it could be the time bonuses and the final sprint that decide who is going to be the winner of the 2018 New Zealand Cycle Classic.